imagine if you have to support your parents. Then I'm like, oh my God, I have to support my parents. How can I have kids? So I just won't have kids. When it comes to helping kids and the elderly, I always prioritize kids. When you were working on a high salary, you did enjoy your holidays and you did enjoy your handbags. And those were your choices, right?
Yes, everybody is time to kecam here.
I mean, honestly, you can't even think about savings now. And unfortunately, I feel like most people in this situation, this is how they get into debt. Like, oh, my salary now is 3,500 and I give my sibling 500 a month each. And I was like, whoa. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Money Goal. My name is Emir and I have Aisha with me again.
I'm here.
Hello, Aisha.
Hi. Okay, so this week I want to talk about sandwich generation.
Okay.
I know you've heard about it because you told me about it one time, I think.
A few episodes ago.
Yeah, so I was hanging out with my friend recently. This is how suddenly started that I want to ask you. Let's sit down with you and talk. So I haven't seen my friend quite a while because he was my friend in high school.
Okay.
So we went to a wedding recently and caught up with each other. So he's married. He has 2 kids.
Okay.
Very cute kids, by the way.
Okay. Wait, same age as you, right? You are 20.
Same age as me, yeah.
29 this year.
29 this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost 30. So he has
2 kids.
2 kids. One is 4 and the younger one is 2.
Okay.
So they're 2 years apart in kindergarten. So a lot of commitments.
A lot. I heard, I mean, not that I have kids, but I heard it's a lot of money. I heard it's a lot of money.
Diapers, formula, because the younger one still, mom susu and all.
And if you don't have, your wife is working, you have daycare.
Yeah, so
Yikes.
his wife does not work.
Okay.
But she does take care of his mom.
Okay.
Because his mom currently suffers from diabetes.
Okay.
And he also recently lost his father.
Okay.
Yeah, so his wife had to take care of the mother. So they do send the kids to daycare because she can only handle. Yeah.
Ooh, that's expensive.
Yes.
Okay.
And also he's paying, his mom's medical bills, also his kids' school bills, and also supporting his wife. And he's actually living in KL, works in marketing, but he earns 5,000 a month.
Okay. And he's supporting basically himself.
2
kids. His wife and his mom.
His mom.
So family of 5 on one income.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his mom medical bills, he told me, was around 1,000 a month.
Okay.
For ubat and all.
You have to pay for
visit. Yeah.
That's like free. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
But,
okay, but 1,000.
Therapy.
Okay.
He did say there's like therapy something. Yeah, because he recently got
that's
into the hospital.
tight. Okay.
Yeah. And his kids, he spent almost 1,200 for like diapers and school.
Okay.
A month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, better than what I've heard from my colleagues. But maybe they're just sending to more expensive places. I don't know. But okay.
And then house and car, I feel he told me it was around 1,800.
Oh, that's his whole salary gone though.
Yeah. So sandwich generation for us, I feel like I've only heard it for our generation so far, because it feels like now in this time that it's harder for people like us to get a good salary that can actually support your mom or your sibling. And your siblings, if they're younger, it's hard for them to get a job.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to pay for them.
Okay, yeah. I've seen people that have to take care of the younger siblings as well. I think that...
Yeah. School, especially if they go to uni, you have to give them the belanja.
Yeah,
right?
pocket money, right? Yeah, I've seen.
And also a lot of these people, their parents are already retired.
Yep.
Yeah, so they also have to support their parents. So mostly the ones that I've heard that is in this situation is mostly from our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you know more about sandwich generation. I think you can.
I mean, I'm not...
everybody.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sandwich generation, but...
You're not lucky. I am not.
Because I don't have kids. That's
you're right.
basically
Yeah.
it. Okay, so basically for those of you guys who don't know, sandwich generation is essentially where you, as an individual, you have to support your parents and your children, your own family, right? So that's why they call it sandwich generation, because you're in between 2 generations and then you're supporting them both. And of course, it's not easy, right? I think a lot of people complain that having kids is difficult. I mean, some people are single and they already complain, oh my God, things are so expensive, and they're just paying for themselves. Imagine having to pay for 2 different generations on top of that. It is a very tricky situation, lah. And honestly, it's unlucky if you're in that position.
Yeah.
But one thing that you can do is to make sure that your kids never get into this position, lah. I know a lot of people, even people that are older, they say, I don't need to save for retirement because, I have kids, what? That's my retirement, right? It's fine. I'll spend all my money now, and then when I don't have any more money, my kids have money.
I feel like that's something the previous generation would say.
Yeah.
Like my mom's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think there
Not
are people...
my mom lah.
Oh, I think there are people in our generation now who their parents, which is essentially same generation as your parents, they say that.
Oh.
They say that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
My kids will take care of me, it's fine. Because, I paid for them growing up, so I expect them to pay for me when I'm older as well. But it makes it very tough, lah. It makes it very tough. Honestly, I think one of the reasons that basically the world has a declining population now is because, do you know that a lot of Malaysians, I don't know if you noticed, lah, people our age, less and less people have kids, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Compared to our parents, right?
Yes.
I mean, one, of course, we have higher standards, lah. We want to be more comfortable and stuff. Whereas back in the days, it's like, I'll just have kids and then hope one of them becomes LeBron James or something.
I mean, because I'm not getting what I want, like
Exactly.
I cannot afford to spend on me. So how am I going to spend on other people?
That's what a lot of people think. And then imagine if you have to support your parents. Then I'm like, oh my God, I have to support my parents. How can I have kids? So I just won't have kids. But yeah, this is basically what sandwich generation is like, lah. So for me personally, my goal, I want to make sure my kids, no problems. I'll sort out myself.
Yeah, because my friend also told me, like, I asked him how does he feel about this. And he's like, he has tried, saying no to his kids if they want to go somewhere or you want to buy something. He also has tried saying no to his mom juga. Because sometimes old people kan macam, want to jalan-jalan.
Yeah.
Wah, semua. And he said macam, cannot lah this month, maybe next month. Because, your bill, we have to pay this bill first. We have to prioritize other things first. But at the end, he feels like no matter how many times that he said no to his parents or to his kids, he still does not have that extra money to spend on them the month after. Because he doesn't have savings at this time. He cannot even save money. And he's kind of struggling lah, 5,000, and you have to buy, like a whole household.
It's
buy
very
groceries,
low.
buy food, he has insurance, he has bills. So that's the thing that he's worried about, and he's trying to figure out how he can, maybe increase his...
Basically make the situation better. I think I'll address like 2 things, but the first thing is, of course, I think necessities have to be first, right? Basic needs first before any, I wouldn't even say luxuries, but anything that's not necessary, lah. Like let's say eating in more expensive places or going holidays and stuff, right? I have a view on this as well, which is a bit harsh, but when it comes to helping kids and the elderly, I always prioritize kids for the reason that my thinking, my rationale at least, is that I always want to help the people who didn't have a choice first. So our kids came into this world, and it's not like they could have studied hard and became a doctor and earned their own money, right? They're like 4 years old. They literally cannot do anything about it. This is the situation they're born in. So I always help them first. Whereas when it comes to parents, I mean, of course, they raised us and everything. Times were tough, right? But they did have a choice, right? They did have a choice to save up and prepare themselves for retirement, right? Which is what
I get you. I get you.
I told my mom that as well. So I am giving my mom an allowance every month now just to support her a bit, make sure her retirement savings last a bit longer. But I told her, I don't expect you to leave any money for me. You can spend all your money. Just make sure that you have enough for yourself, lah. And if you run out, you will only get necessities. That's it. Because I have to prioritize my own family down the line and everything, right? And I know, maybe I want to pay for more expensive education and stuff for my kids, but I think, again, it's not like they can go and earn their own money to get a better education, right? So I will give them what they need, lah.
I mean, you're trying to break the cycle, So by prioritizing your kids, you'll make sure that one day they have a better future, get better job,
exactly.
earn bigger salaries, so they can support themselves.
Yeah. And then I did tell my mom. The good thing about my mom is she's a bit reasonable. She understands. So I was like, I I know you supported us, you raised us and everything.
Yeah.
But when you were working on a high salary, you did enjoy your holidays and you did enjoy your handbags. And those were your choices, right?
Yes,
And she was
everybody, it's time to kacam here.
Yeah.
This is your in the comments.
If I had unlimited money, I'll support everyone, of course. But yeah. But going back to your friend's situation, honestly,
Yeah.
it's super tricky, lah. I don't think. I mean, you're talking about the cost. There's nothing you can do, right? The mom's treatment. What can
Yeah.
you do, right? Your kids, you have to have diapers for them. They still need to go to daycare and stuff. He really only has two options. One is, of course, he needs to go up his income.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time he has to.
That's the only thing that I kind of like told him. I feel like you need to change your job and
Yeah.
find a place that pays you better.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, your wife can do like side income.
Yeah, so it's exactly what I was going to
I
say.
feel bad telling him that because I'm not in his situation, right? I'm like,
Correct. Okay, then if I were him, if I were in his shoes,
you were in his
if
shoes,
I
what
were
would
in
you
his
do,
shoes,
Emir?
I will of course try and up my income for sure.
Yes.
Right, I will do the best I can, but I will also tell my wife, maybe you should go get a job. Okay, not side income, right? Okay, it can be side income, whatever lah. But I think she has room to get a job because I thought initially when you talked about this that she was taking care of the kids and the mom, which means that technically she's saving money instead of hiring a babysitter or instead of going to daycare. She's saving that money. But since the kids have to go to daycare anyway, basically all she's saving now is the cost of taking care of his mom, right? Which if she can find a job for let's say 4,000 ringgit salary, they can just hire a helper for 2,000, get the helper to take care of the mom, and there's still an extra 2,000 ringgit for the whole family, which will help lah. Again, I know some people will say, oh, but then a helper and my wife helping my mom is different. But if I was in his shoes lah, that's what I would do.
This is what Emir would do.
This is what I would do. You guys don't have to do this, but you should. No.
But what about savings though? If he wants to start saving, do you think it's possible? What would you do? How would you do it?
Again, okay, I don't know his exact spending, but when you talk about his house, car, mom, children, 5,000 ringgit salary.
5,000, and then all I know is like 1,000 for his mom, 1,000 and 1,002 for his kids,
that's
and
2,002.
1,008.
Yeah, that's 4,000. Yeah, I know. That's nothing. That's why I was like, oh, maybe you got the math wrong. No, because 5,000. Okay, assuming 5,000 is gross, your net is like 4,003. Net 4,003. That's yeah. It's really tight. It's really tight. That's why. I mean, honestly, you can't even think about savings now. And unfortunately, I feel like most people in this situation, this is how they get into debt. Right? 1 month. Okay, let's say lah, now you barely have enough. Right? And you're surviving. 1 month that suddenly your car needs to go to the workshop. You don't have anything more for that. So you have to take a loan. And this is how people get into that trap lah. Yeah, which is why I feel like either, pull the kids out of daycare and say, hey, I need my wife I need you to take care of them because that's going to save me 1,000 a month or whatever it is. Or
I also told him because right now he is the only one taking care of his mom because he's the eldest.
Okay.
But he does have 3 other
oh.
Yeah. So I did tell him that probably you can share the cost with your siblings, but he said that he didn't want to ask because they also didn't offer.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe that could help.
Actually, yeah, for sure. Elder sibling things, right? Okay.
They feel responsible, I feel like.
Yeah, they feel responsible. I think definitely 3 siblings is a lot.
Yeah.
To sort of help split this cost, right? To help support the mom. I think I would do that. Again, if I was in his shoe, I would definitely ask. I did it as well. So initially, one of my siblings wasn't giving an allowance to my mom at the point, and I told her like, I think you should. I mean, I know your salary, I know you have a nice lifestyle, but you need to give some to mom. I think this is just a elder son. I mean, I'm not the oldest. My sister is older than me.
I'm the oldest.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
I feel like the safest way to prepare yourself, this is not when you're already in the situation, but for you to actually prepare yourself, probably you have to actually plan your expenses, how much you can spend for your parents, how much you can spend for your children, your family, and how much you can spend for yourself. So you should maybe split that cost first. And then I feel like the most important thing is to just have a medical insurance for everybody, because you don't know what's going to happen, kan? Because you didn't know that your mother was going to suddenly
Yep.
get diabetes. So
Yep,
she
yep,
does not
yep.
have an insurance. That's what he was claiming. Yeah, because she didn't
okay.
work. His father was the only one working. So
Okay.
they didn't take any insurance for his mom.
Yep.
So now they have to pay everything out of pocket because he does not have an insurance plan.
Yep. Yep.
So I feel like before you get into being into like this sandwich generation, maybe it's having the knowledge or awareness on how you can avoid and prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Kan?
That's true. I think
Savings also could help
yeah.
if you are aware, if you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One thing that I did tell my mom is you need to keep your medical insurance, whatever it is. Yeah, because like you said, you have your EPF money now. It can last you X number of years, but if anything were to happen to you, that entire savings could go towards medical bills. And
yeah, and also insurance can help.
For
it
sure.
does not. It didn't feel like it's helping now because like I've said in like our first earlier.
It feels like you're wasting
episode,
money, right?
Yeah, I paid like 250 every month.
Yep.
For the past 5 years, I've never used it.
Yep. It's a good thing if you don't use it. It means you're not sick.
Yeah. So at first I feel like I'm just paying for nothing. But now that I've met a lot of people who has been in situations where suddenly they accident lah, sakit kaki lah, they tiba-tiba dapat penyakit all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, actually. It helps.
It does, for sure.
It helps.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's do like a quick story, and then after that we can wrap up with a takeaway that you can like simplify for all our viewers.
Let's do it.
So the first story, the double pressure paycheck. I'm the eldest child, so I give my parents a fixed amount every month to cover their groceries and bills. On top of that, my daughter's school fees and daycare cost almost the same amount. By the time my salary comes in, more than half is already gone. It feels like I'm working just to pass the money around. I love my family, but sometimes I wonder, when is it my turn to save for myself? So her question is, how can someone set boundaries without feeling like they're letting their family down?
Okay. This one, people are going to kacam me again. I'm ready. No. Actually, I've seen a lot of posts like this. I think Malaysians are, I don't know if it's a Malaysian thing. I don't know.
Very kind.
Very kind, for
Like
sure. I've seen
kind,
posts.
responsible.
Yeah. I've seen posts of like this guy's basically in a similar situation. Like, oh, my salary now is 3,500 and I give my sibling 500 a month each. And I was like, whoa. And people were initially thinking, oh, is it because, your siblings don't have money? It's like, oh no, they have money. It's just that I feel responsible as the eldest brother. I know it's nice. It's nice to support your parents, to support your siblings, but you need to have to talk with them, right? And to me, at least, if you're struggling and your family is not struggling, like they won't without your money, then I will talk to them and say, hey, I'm in a bit of a tight spot now. Can we reduce the allowance temporarily until I get a better job or until I build X amount of savings? I would definitely do that. Yeah, I think your friend's situation is different because the mom is like, really she can't do anything about it, right? But I know a lot of people where, their parents even have jobs still or they have a lot of retirement savings. They just feel like, I need to get
belanja lah. Okay, this is for you to like go makan, enjoy yourself.
Which is nice, but only do it when you can lah. Yeah.
When you can afford it.
Exactly.
Pay for yourself first. Put yourself first. Okay.
For sure.
Last year, my dad suddenly needed surgery and the hospital bill was way higher than we expected.
Okay.
My siblings and I had to pull together our savings and even swipe my credit card just to cover my part. That debt took me months to clear. After that, I realized that we can't just hope for the best when it comes to parents' medical needs.
Yep.
Now I'm actively looking into better medical coverage for them, but it's tough balancing the premiums with my own expenses. The question is, what's the best way to prepare for these sudden big expenses without falling into debt?
Emergency funds, essentially. Yeah, that's why you have emergency funds so that you don't get into debt. But again, it's either you pool your siblings to pay for the insurance premiums ahead of time, or if you guys really can't afford it, then I would definitely go to public healthcare. Even for your parents, I know you will feel bad because it's not so comfortable, not as nice as private healthcare. But again, if you can't afford it, then it is what it is lah. It is what it is.
You just have to start saving.
Exactly.
Like if you're already in trouble, you cannot do anything about it if you cannot afford it. So you just have to know to manage your savings so that when these things comes,
you'll be
prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's take
Yes,
okay.
Let's wrap it up with some takeaways, tips.
Sandwich generation. First of all, I would say selfish but prioritize yourself first. You know, you can't help other people forever if you don't have your own finances sorted out. And then number 2 takeaway is, if you are someone who is in the sandwich generation now, just do your part to make sure that your kids are not in this position. Save for yourself for retirement, save for your healthcare in the future so that your kids can just focus on themselves.
Yeah. Like what, airlines punya tu say?
Exactly.
Put the mask on your face first.
Before you put it on for other people. Exactly. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks, Aisha. Nice talking to you again.
Thank you, man.
And see you in the next one.